Do not for a moment believe the dark forces as they try to convince you and everybody and all the kids in these indoctrination camps that God is man-made, religion is man-made, it's all fictitious, that you don't have a soul.
That you have some soul or spirit inside that can make decisions completely freely, this has no meaning and no scientific validity.
Evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some God above the clouds, but our intelligent design.
And I think that fake news have been with us for thousands of years. Just think of the Bible. But
they want you to believe this because ultimately, if they can disconnect you from the Lord of the world, the true master of this world, your true master, who is loving and compassionate, they then can become your master and you will become their slave. That's the ultimate goal.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen.
When you lose knowledge of the Word of God, you lose knowledge of that God-given moral compass. So they can then, the dark forces, can unleash and start pushing all types of perversity and call it virtue. And everything that is designed by God and good, they can call that immoral. If you adhere to God-given design, then you are a bad person, right? This is what we are seeing now. This is what we are experiencing now. So you lose, if they can disconnect you from God, then they can determine the moral compass. They can normalize perversity of all kind, which we are seeing now, and immoralize or demonize everything that is good and pure.
Professor of Sociology and Criminal Justice at Old Dominion University, someone named Alan Walker, defending pedophiles and pedophilia and attractions toward kids.
I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile.
Pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality. No one chooses to be a pedophile.
When you are disconnected from God, then you will be unaware. This is the case for most of the young folks who have had a non-religious upbringing. Okay? They are totally unaware of their God-given human rights, basic human rights. And so the dark forces will step in, just like we have seen, and use all types of excuses, this crisis, that crisis, for the greater good, okay? We're gonna strip you of your ability to own a land. We're gonna strip you of your ability to have kids. Oh, the world is too populated. We're gonna strip you away of your ability to move about.
Urban mobility scorecard. In other words, they don't want you to drive.
No.
They want you to live in a city, and for your mobility, you can depend on public transport.
God is love. A lot of people understand this. They call God love, that ultimate source of infinite, perfect, unconditional love. When you lose that connection, you become a person that is easily fear-mongered. And the dark forces, as many of you know, they use fear all the time to control your behavior. They fear-monger you, always using fear-mongering narratives to control your behavior. But if you are living in love, you are maintaining that loving relationship on a daily basis with your loving, compassionate Lord, then you cannot be fear-mongered, because fear and love are opposite sides of the same coin. When you live in love every day, you cannot be fear-mongered. You cannot be enslaved. We're dealing with an epidemic of low self-esteem and low self-worth, people who are desperate for validation, people pleasers, etc., because they're disconnected from this most essential, the most powerful source of love, which is God. And when you have low self-esteem, you can easily be controlled because you're desperate for validation. You're desperate to fit in. And so you're going to be vulnerable to peer pressure, societal pressure, whatever the narrative is that the dark forces are pushing for the greater good. You're going to have to join into virtue signal, to fit in, to virtue signal and tell people, look guys, I'm a good person. Well, you wouldn't need to do that, because if you're tuning into the love messages of God, you will know that you are a good person, okay? That you have been created noble. And so you will be easily controlled to join in on the psychological operations, to join in on the crimes against humanity. I'm going to put on this face diaper and breathe in my own waste, put it on my kids, and make us all sick. I'm going to take the death juice for the greater good and virtue signal on Facebook. Hey, I played my part. I'm a good person because I have such low self-esteem, etc., etc. So many ways you can be controlled and enslaved when you are disconnected from love, from the ultimate source of love, okay? That's essentially what it boils down to. You can be enslaved, you can be oppressed, you can be controlled.